David Luiz is the perfect example of bad recruitment. You're buying a player from a club who's got a transfer ban and they're selling him.
I never thought of it like that.
That tells you
everything
everything you need to know about recruitment. What I'm thinking, Wolves as well for sick. I think Wolves.
Okay. They've got a very good chance.
Wolves personally, for me, I think Wolves are a better side than Spurs. I think if you look at their team from defence to up, to up front, I think they've got a more balanced side than Tottenham.
Yeah, but he's always known for cussing out players, though.
What, with these funny phrases? No, he didn't. He'd be known to get in your face and be the hard man. Man ain't a joker. Now he's a comedian. He's a comedian, bro. That's why you like him. That's why you like him. He's a comedian. That's
and
what
Sky
he is.
are loving it. Sky are putting it all over. If you look at Sky Sports, like social media, they're loving it. They're just running with it, and obviously it gets more clicks and more views.
Come on, we gotta understand this is. We gotta understand it for what it is, man.
Yeah.
We gotta understand this for what it is.
Entertainment. It's basically wrestling. It's like WWE. Do you know what I mean? It's literally wrestling. Man said he would come in at half time and spark it. I'll be throwing punches. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, Leon, when Arsenal bid £40 million and £1 for Luis Suarez, that's when you knew that class of that football club was gone.
What's happening, people, and welcome to another episode of Everyone's a Pundit. And today I'm joined, as you know, with the ever-present Pat Talk.
Patrick Tyrant, aka Young Swaggy Daniels. When you see the T, you see the P. When you see the P, that represents T.
Nice one. And yeah, man, we're back here with Jason as well.
It's the boom, bam, bing. I haven't forgot
Come on.
I ain't done it such a while, boy.
One of those weekends, yeah?
Yeah,
One
boy.
of those weekends.
It's Jason Alexander. But we're joined with a special guest as well, man. Andy, introduce yourself, please.
I haven't got nothing like these boys, man. My name's Andy. I'm from Oakwood.
That's it, man.
Yeah, what's happening?
Welcome.
Yeah, good to have you, man. Good to have you.
And for the ones that are listening on the audio, Andy's a Liverpool fan. But just to give you guys a bit of an introduction, me and Andy know each other from way back from our, Greek League football days and all of that. And we're good friends, man. But, he's a very passionate Liverpool fan. I'm a passionate Man United fan. The days when Liverpool weren't good, giving him stick. And he actually blocked me on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, man. So this is a very passionate guy, but we're pleased that we're now friends again. And I'm pleased and honored to have him on the show.
I blocked you on Twitter to preserve our friendship.
Oh, you see, there you go, people. There you go. Oh, wicked. This is episode 38, people. And today we're going to be obviously discussing that football is back. It's been a long time, man. So we've had a few games now and football is well and truly back. We're going to discuss the race for top four. And obviously, we'll talk about Liverpool closing out the title, what Andy believes is or when they will do it. David Luiz, we have to touch on David Luiz and also Arsenal Football Club as well. David De Gea's mistake and him being the highest paid player in the Premier League. And also we'll just finish off with VAR and goal line technology. So, man, getting straight into it, boys. The Premier League is back. Patrick, how are you feeling, sir? How are you feeling?
I feel good, man. I mean, I was all up for null and voiding it, but now that it's back, I'm really happy that it's back. And I was a bit apprehensive about this behind closed doors, no crowd thing, but I've got into it, man. And obviously I've been watching it with the fan noise on BT or Sky or BBC. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the games. I really am.
Yep. Jason?
Boy, mixed emotions, boy. Mixed emotions, bro. kind of get it's back, but I wish they just avoided it and done. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you kind of want another little break, innit? You want us to go back in
Just
lockdown,
avoid the
surely.
ting, man. That's what I'm saying right now.
Andy, how you feeling, man?
Yeah, listen, I'm happy. Obviously, happy football's back. I'm happy we get to live as a Liverpool fan. We get to win it on the pitch rather than it being curtailed. Obviously, Void was thrown off the table very early doors. It was going to be, if it was going to be cancelled, we would have won the title on points per game, which, to be honest, wouldn't have been great. But when you haven't won the league for 30 years, you'll take it. You know, so I'm happy that football's back, though. It's been a little bit flat. The games have been a bit flat, which is understandable. You know, the players haven't played for over 100 days, so it doesn't help. You know, so, but it's, you know, we love football, guys. So, I mean, I've watched every single game on TV since it's been back. I've not missed one game. I just, you know, even when the German league started, you know, I think I watched Paderborn versus some, I don't even know who they played.
Every game.
And I was
happy to see football.
I was really excited. So to have our game back, you know, from our country is, you know, is great. And listen, let's enjoy it. It's a football festival for the next, you know, for the next couple of months.
Games on every day, pretty much. Now and again, you'll get a 1 day break, but tomorrow there's a game. Tuesday there's a game. You know, there's games every day. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
No,
absolutely.
So the kids aren't happy, boy, because they've had the TV for months, and then now it's like, nope, I'm in front of the TV. They are screwing. You know what I mean? How are you lot finding the fan noises? Because for me personally, I've listened to the game. Look, the way I see it is, it's either watching the football with no fan noise or watching it with fan noise.
Yeah.
And I've watched the football with no fan noises, and for me, it's horrible. It's a horrible experience. So when they add in the noise, even though obviously the cheering comes a little bit after the shot or the incident and all of that, I'm like, you know what? It does add a bit of atmosphere to it. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I'm cool with it. Like I can watch it, and it's a lot. It's as real to the real game as we're gonna see. Do you know what I mean?
It's got sharper over the last day or so, I've noticed, because on Wednesday, whenever it kicked off, it was way off. But now I'm noticing it's a lot more tighter, and I've noticed they started to add chants into the games now. They're a bit like they're a bit generic, because you hear the chant, but you don't hear obviously the team's name. But it does make it feel a bit better because you can hear chants and they've got a lot tighter with the oohs and the ahs and all of that. So yeah, man. I think the atmosphere needs to be there. What have you been watching it, Andy? So you've obviously watched a lot of football. Have you been watching it with the fan noises or without?
Yeah. I've tried it with the fan noises. I like it. It's all right. You know, when you're not watching it, obviously you can just hear the players talking and shouting. You know, it's like you're watching a Sunday league game, to be honest. You know, but I thought the Man City Arsenal game was quite funny because it's the loudest I've heard the Etihad for about 10 years. to be honest, I think they've got it a bit wrong there. But you know, it's a bit too loud for me.
On the Man City one, you know, where they got the crowd, they got the fan squares where you got all the little pixels of all the different the fans watching. They had about 6 blank squares, so they didn't even have enough fans to fill their camera.
Who, Man City or Arsenal?
Man City. They were getting Man City. They were getting finished. So it's like you haven't even got enough fans to tune in and
it's
crazy.
To be honest, did you guys? Sorry to cut you off, Leo. Did you guys watch the Liverpool game? Because I watched it with the fan noise today. Did you watch it without it today, boys?
No, I always
with the fan.
I was really interested. Do you know what? I was really thinking maybe to watch it without it today because I wanted to hear Klopp on the touchline.
On the sideline.
Yeah, because you see him, he goes mental from most games. But in the end, we ended up putting the fan noise on. But that'll be interesting to hear some of the managers losing their minds.
Screaming, exactly. So that'll be interesting.
So what do you guys think then of, I know, Andy, you said that you feel it's been a bit flat. What do you think of the standards so far, Pat?
First halves have been very wishy-washy, to be honest. And even if you notice, they said a stat. I think, to be fair, in our game, we're one of the only teams that have scored in the first half.
First half, yeah.
most of the halves have been 0-0s, and they kind of go into the game. So you can see the players aren't 100%. There's no way. I mean, they haven't played for 3 months. They're still feeling each other out, and yeah, it's not been great. Obviously, it's great that football's on, but the quality hasn't been where it was, and that's naturally so, isn't it? Really, after so long off.
What do you reckon, Jay?
Yeah, I agree with Pat. I feel like a lot of when they start off, they're a bit cagey.
Yeah.
But they do grow into it. I mean, when I watched Hughes lot game, I think out of all the games I've watched, I think the Man United and Tottenham looked like the fittest. Like, you get what I'm saying? It was like at fast pace majority of the time of the game.
Yeah.
Games at fast pace quite a lot. So I was like, right, like these players taken a break, or they've been playing the whole time that we don't know? Because like both teams look like they're quite fit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody looked tired. And I was quite shocked by that. But yeah, all the other games has been a bit like, you know, cagey and whatnot.
What do you lot make of the water break? Because I personally don't like it, man. I think that in the Man United Spurs game, for me, that killed our momentum in both halves. I think that
definitely.
we were on, and as soon as that water break came in, I think that Spurs started to get a bit of a handle, and I felt like that even in the second half for a period. What do you think, Andy, of the water break?
Yeah,
Are you a fan of it?
No, not at all. It happened today with Liverpool. We controlled the game for the majority of the match, to be honest, and you know, that second water break in the second half actually stopped our flow.
The rhythm,
which, you know, I was watching the game with my son, and he said it as well. But from what I understand, they need to do it for now, because, you know, like we said from before, Lee, it's you know, these boys haven't played for nearly 100 days or more than 100 days. So there's a big risk of injury at the end of the day. The only thing I would say is there's tactics going on. You know,
100%.
They can fix it up. They can fix it up, you know, and things like that, which I don't like, if I'm being honest. I think it should be on the other side of the pitch. No tactics.
It's basically like a basketball timeout. It's essentially a basketball timeout. Because like Jason was saying, I think the Man U Spurs game in terms of quality was probably the best watch I've watched, in terms of both teams were going at it. It was a fast-paced game, and every time we had a water break, it was in our advantage as a Spurs fan, because we were on the ropes and we were rocking, and then obviously the water break comes, you see Jose getting them back into formation, into line, so it really helped us. So yeah, it's obviously for them, they need the fluid intake and all of that, but I think someone in one of the games where it was raining, they even said, do they really need a water break? It's not like it's humid and it's hot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
So it depends, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I just think if they're going to do it, no tactics, get onto the, you know, both teams go to the far side, you know, get their water from the waterman, you know, and, you know, crack on again. I just don't like this, you know, Carlo Ancelotti today, you know what, he fixed it up, to be honest, in that little water break. He fixed it all up, to be fair. So I wasn't happy about that.
Mikel Arteta's in his element, because obviously, as being Pep's water boy, this is his time to shine, isn't it? During the water breaks.
What you got to say about that, Jason, man? Let's touch on the start that Arsenal have had, boy. Could you have actually? What did you think was going to happen when you started? Did you think it was going to end up like this, or did you think loss against City and then win against?
I thought we would have beaten Brighton.
Yeah,
I thought we would have beaten Brighton. The City game I can take, the Brighton game, like I just don't understand it. I'm baffled by it. I'm actually worried for the rest of the season now, because if they could lose to a team like Brighton, you know, we've got Southampton next. Southampton are better than Brighton. You got what I'm saying? You know, I'm worried, man, because like we're not scoring goals. We've scored 28 goals all season. 28.
Wow.
Terrible.
28. You know what I'm saying?
And Aubameyang's probably got most of those goals, isn't it? If you think about it.
And he got 17 or something. What's his goals?
Like that. It must be round about that mark. I'm
17.
Not sure
He's on 17 league goals.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
so that's pretty much most of it. That's about 60-70%.
It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. I don't know. Mate, I don't know.
Jay, you boys have got a hard run in as well. We were checking it today. You've got a tough fixture list coming up. You've got Wolves on July the 4th. Sorry,
I've got all of their list here, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
So the next game is Southampton away. Then they've got Sheffield United away. Then they got Norwich at home. Wolves away. Leicester home, Spurs away, Liverpool at home.
Wow, that's a
and
killer.
and then their last 2 games. Now, if Villa are fighting to stay up, they've got Villa away and Watford at home.
Yeah, so there's no easy fixture there, because even Norwich, even though they're rock bottom, they're still going to be playing, trying to hope that they can get something out of it. Yeah, that's a tough run-in, man.
You know what, Jason? What do you think the likelihood of you lot finishing bottom half of the table is?
It's very likely that will happen. We'd be lucky to finish 10th.
Wow.
This is
I'm not even I back Arsenal to the fullest, but yesterday was unacceptable. I'm not having that. That was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. You can't lose that.
Yeah,
you can't. And our football's not great. You know, when we're attacking, it's like we're not attacking. We're not attacking with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's all like half stepping. You get me? We attack, but then we play it back if we can't break through. Like, come on, man. Attack with purpose, innit? You get what I'm saying? Yeah. We're not doing it. We're not doing it, and you know we just can't defend. It's just poor all over the park. It's just poor, mate. Been apart from Leno and Aubameyang, been the rest of the squad, bruv.
Yeah.
That's what
and Leno's out now as well. That's
been the rest of the squad. They're useless. I'll tell you something. If I was on that team yesterday, I would have been ripping into man. And I'm a man that I don't really rip into man on the pitch, but yesterday I'd have been ripping into man hard because that was poor. You know.
Yeah.
But you haven't even had that manager bounce, man. Go on, Andy. What was you gonna say?
I just think Arsenal are just going to play through the season now. You know, they're not going to get relegated, so it doesn't matter. They're not in that sort of trouble. But Arsenal, you know, as the years have gone by, their poor leadership from up top.
Yeah, that's where it starts from.
Is now filtering onto the pitch. Yeah. Eventually, that was going to happen. You know, and it sort of really reminds me of Liverpool in 2010, when we had George Gillette and Tom Hicks, who were running our club. They run us to the ground, boys. They run us to the ground. Things were looking bleak, and it's proven that if you've got good leadership up top, it slowly starts filters through to the pitch, and that's what we've had. Thankfully, Arsenal haven't.
Nothing will change until the Cronkies go.
Exactly. You know, all these, Arteta coming in, I like Arteta. I think he would do well in terms of bringing the youth through, because Arsenal have got a very, very good academy system. Trust me, I've seen a lot of their academy teams. Some of their academy teams are the best in the country. And someone like Arteta being there, I think is a good thing for them players.
Yeah.
But that's their only hope, really, is bringing through youth and making a couple of shrewd signings, from Arteta, not from where they've been. They need to change their recruitment. Their recruitment's been terrible for a few years now. You know what gets me with Arsenal is that they've actually got really good young players. You've got Martinelli, you've got Saka, you've got Willock. If they had just a bit more quality and a bit more leadership, they could actually be scary, because the players that they got coming through are really good. But it's just that they're just thrown in the deep end. Saka's just been thrown in and played every game pretty much since he started, and it's just it's weird because they play Aubameyang on the left or whichever, and then they play Saka. Why don't you put Saka there and play Aubameyang up top? Just play players in their proper position. I think ultimately you're right. Ultimately, it's going to be, for me, whilst the Cronkies are still there running the club the way they're running it, it's going to be their youth players that have to be brought through, and for them for Arteta to build a team with them youth players sprinkled with a bit of experience. Yeah, I mean, who goes? I mean, David Luiz is the perfect example of bad recruitment. You're buying a player from a club who's got a transfer ban, and they're selling him.
I never thought of it like that.
That tells you everything you need to know about recruitment. I mean, who's doing the recruitment here? It's like, let's go and buy a player who's got a transfer ban.
I think he was brought in as a stopgap because Saliba was away to St. Etienne for the rest of the season. I think that's
poor recruitment.
It's poor, but I reckon they didn't want to buy someone that was going to cost them loads when they got Saliba coming. We paid 30 million for Saliba. So I think they wanted someone to just cover that spot for the season until he comes in. I don't think
that's just it, Jason. That's just it, Jason. It's poor. It's poor leadership from up top. Let's fight David Luiz to be a stopgap. I always remember Arsenal as a powerful club. You know, if there was a player available,
it's a long time ago, Andy.
We're going,
you're going way back now.
But what I'm saying, that's down to leadership, Leon. That's down to leadership. That's not been there for a long time. You know, so sorry to cut you short there, Jason, but that's my point about what's going on at Arsenal, and that ain't going to change. Saliba, by the way, is a shrewd signing. That was a very good signing. I've been watching that kid for a while. He's got good potential, but at the same time, he needs to be next to someone to guide him through.
Yeah, that was my point. If you bring him in and throw him in the deep end, he's going to struggle because it's a new league. Obviously, the Premier League is ruthless, and it will take him time to find his feet. If he was next to a established quality defender, you'd probably see the better of him sooner. But,
absolutely.
Let's see. Yeah.
Why couldn't you sign Dejan Lovren on a stopgap, man? That would have made me feel happy.
He was shaky today as well, wasn't it? He was
oh my God!
Today,
as soon as he came on, Everton just like, yes, we got a chance.
Exactly. Play on Lovren. Play on Lovren. Play on Lovren.
And they did. They did.
Exactly.
If
Jason, man.
had a bit more quality, man, Everton could have won today.
Yeah, I don't rate Richarlison, man.
I don't either.
Yeah.
If we was to discuss the race for the top four now, so obviously Arsenal's race is to finish in the top half of the table, which is not banter, but they are banter FC, and that is very funny. their race is to finish in the top half of the table. It's crazy to think that when we started this podcast, everyone's a pundit. Jason was very optimistic about the signings, thinking that they had the best window and all of this. And now we're where we are now.
But what you guys need to understand is, that team should be doing better than what it's doing.
100%.
Should be doing better than what it's doing. That's why I was optimistic. That team should be doing better than what it's doing.
It should. That statistic about Lacazette's away goals. He hasn't scored since, was it February 2019? He hasn't scored an away goal.
Even the statistic about their away from home form against the top six, when they showed that,
0.
They haven't won a game since 2015.
2015.
That team should be doing much better than what they are doing, without a shadow of a doubt. I know some of the players ain't that great, but they're better than 10th.
But this is what I mean, Jason. Like you are where you are. You would think that you've had all your hard games. You've still got Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool, and Wolves to play. You've still got them teams to play. Yeah. Like Man United, have only got Leicester to play now. Do you know what I mean? We've played all of the big games. So you could kind of think, we've played all of the big games. Maybe we would be where Arsenal are. I think it's shocking that where you are at the moment, man.
Of course it is.
It really is.
It's poor. I'm not even going to deny. I can't front.
But with that said, let me not gloss over. Man United are having a crap season as well. I'm not saying, but it's shocking. Everybody is having a shocking season apart from Liverpool. But if I was to think about the race for the top four, me and Pat was going back and forth earlier. Andy, obviously Liverpool have got it sewn up. Yeah, Liverpool are there and there. Who do you think makes up the rest of the top four?
As it stands.
As it stands.
Yeah, I think Leicester, obviously, they didn't get a great result the other day, but they're up against a team that's fighting relegation. So it wasn't a bad point. Watford beat Liverpool this year, so that wasn't a bad point. I think Leicester have got their position there. And Chelsea going to be, coming into that last 8 games now with a little bit more confidence as well. It's almost like, this break has helped some of these teams a little bit to get their players back and just a little bit of a refresh. I think Man United will finish 5th and will get Champions League, because I've got a feeling that although Man City have appealed their Champions League situation, I don't think it will be overturned. I think they'll get maybe 1 year.
1 year,
rather than a 2 year. So I think Man United are finishing for a Champions League spot. Tottenham, I don't know what to say about Tottenham. They're a strange side. Spurs, I think when they're on it, they're a good side, But I think they've got an aging defence now, Leon, and they need a little rebuild now. I'm not sure what Tottenham fans think of Jose. I think he's the most boring manager in Europe, if I'm being honest.
So Pat's a Spurs fan. So Pat,
Yeah.
you also believe that top four is going to be as
yeah,
it is.
I said top four as it is. Then I said Man United fifth, and I said Tottenham sixth. I think we'll finish sixth. Obviously that's not good enough for Champions League spot, but obviously, you know what? It's a tricky one because I do honestly now believe we'll finish sixth, but I would rather us not be in Europa. I don't know if that's me being a snob because we've been in the Champions League for the last 4 years, or if I just don't feel the Thursday Sunday combination. I think it's so tough and difficult to really do well. Yeah, it's a horrible combination. You're flying around everywhere, and then you're also playing catch up to all the rest of you boys because you guys play on a Saturday. Typically, you play on a Saturday, and then we got to play catch up on a Sunday. But
I'm thinking Wolves as well for sixth. I think Wolves.
Okay. They've got a very good chance.
Wolves. I personally, for me, I think Wolves are a better side than Spurs. I think if you look at their team from defence to up front, I think they've got a more balanced side than Tottenham. Defensively, they're strong. Midfield, they're really, really good. And up top, that Traore is an animal. And
you know what?
Jimenez is a scorer as well.
Jimenez
is a really good striker.
So. What do you think?
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, Jason, what do you reckon? Because Andy just mentioned Wolves, which is somebody that I actually overlooked. What do you think will be the top four and the chasing pack? Where do you think it will finish?
Yeah, I think it will be as it stands now, but I do think obviously Man City with their thing, they're gonna obviously miss out because of the ban that they got. So whoever finishes fifth, but you're fifth right now. Who's sixth?
Isn't it Wolves?
Sheffield United.
And you're
sorry. It's Wolves are level on points. Is it Wolves that are level on points with us? It's either Sheffield United or Wolves that are level on points with us.
Right. It must be Wolves. I think Sheffield United are a bit lower.
Let me have a check.
Well,
is it Wolves,
going by
Wolves.
Going by your running, you look like you got quite an easy running. So you're going to win a few games from that. So you're most likely to get the Champions League, like what Andy said. But I think Wolves have a very good chance of finishing sixth.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at Wolves' fixtures now. So Wolves have got Bournemouth at home, which you would expect them to win. Aston Villa away, which you would expect them to win. Mm-hmm. Arsenal at home, which I actually would expect them to win. Sheffield United away, again, you would expect them to win that. This is football, anything can happen. That may be, that could be a draw. But they've only got like Everton at home. You would expect them to win that. Burnley away, you would expect them to win that. Crystal Palace, now that could be a tricky one. So that could easily be a draw. But again, you would expect them to win. And then they've got Chelsea on the last day of the season. So that can be a really big game. Do you know what I mean?
Massive. Yeah. They could try and nick Chelsea's position early on.
Yeah.
You just don't know, man. Like Man United have got Sheffield United at home. I'd expect us to win that. Norwich away, expect us to win. Brighton away, expect us to win. Bournemouth at home, expect us to win. Villa away, expect us to win. Southampton at home, expect us to win. Palace, again, very tricky, but I'd expect us to win that. West Ham, expect us to beat them at home. And then we've got Leicester away from home on the last day of the season. So I know you guys all think this as it stands, but I'm telling you, man, I personally don't think it's going to be that smooth sailing. Listen to Leicester's fixtures. Brighton at home. Yeah, you would expect them to win that. And this is where it gets sticky for me. Chelsea at home. I probably expect them to lose that. Everton away. I can actually see them dropping points there. Palace at home. You never know what can happen there. Yeah. Arsenal away.
They've got tough games.
Arsenal away. You would expect them to beat Arsenal, but again, it's a big game. You never know. Bournemouth and Sheffield United, they've then got. And then their last two games of the season, Spurs away, United at home. Do you know what I mean?
They got a tough running, man. That's a very tough running.
It's not smooth sailing. I think if you deep down into it, there can be some twists and turns,
Definitely.
100%.
As I said before, Leon, I just think the points cushion is obviously in their benefit right now.
But we've seen teams drop cushions, man. It's about the teams you're playing. For me, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, United, and Everton and Palace. You know,
that's a tough running, man.
And then I look at ours, and I'm thinking the only ones I'm really concerned about is Palace, Leicester, and I'm not even worried about Sheffield United, if I'm honest. They're the only ones I'm worried about for us.
Yeah, the problem with Man United, these are the games that they, the fixture list. I know what you're saying when we say we expect to win these games. These are the games that United have actually failed in the last couple of seasons.
Well, this season, we could even talk about this season. This is where we struggled. But you know what? I think? I think the no fans will help us, Andy. That's
maybe,
what I think.
no pressure. Just go out, express themselves.
I think the no fans. I think the no fans are typically going to help the bigger teams in this scenario, and the lesser teams. That's what I believe. That's why when Arsenal lost to Brighton, I'm thinking, right, boy, they even got no fans.
How does that happen?
Pushing them over the line. Do you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So it's gonna be some twists. If we was to then move on to Liverpool, when do you reckon you will win the title, Andy?
Well, we've got Palace. Palace is not going to be easy on Wednesday. They're
Palace at home.
I hate Crystal Palace, man. They're one of these teams. Last year we beat them. Man. We beat them 4-3 last year at Anfield. That was a tough game.
Yeah. And you should have lost that game as well, innit?
Yeah. It was a real tough game for us.
Yeah.
We managed to get it over the line. I think, if I'm being honest, Leon, I think we'll win it. I've just got this feeling. It's written that we're going to win it at City.
At City, yeah. You need 5 points.
Yeah. So if we beat Palace on Wednesday night,
which you probably will anyway.
Then City play. This is going to be interesting. We could actually even be champions before we play City.
Okay. They play Burnley next.
They play Burnley tomorrow. Burnley and then Chelsea. They've got Burnley and then Chelsea away
on Thursday, the day after us.
Yeah.
So if Chelsea get points off City, then we've effectively won with the draw at the Etihad.
Which is possible, man, because this ain't the same City. City are not, you know, they just battered Arsenal, but that's Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? They ain't the same. They ain't the same team, man.
Well, it's going to be. I think Leon. It's going to be either the City game where we can maybe nick a draw. Although they're going to be bang up for it against us. They won't want us to win the league there. If there's still a chance of us not winning to win it there. But then I'd say
Villa. Then you got Villa after that.
Villa and Burnley, I think. Haven't we got Burnley as
Villa and then Brighton. Brighton away after Villa.
Yeah, so I think maybe Villa. You know, by Villa we should have won it. And like I said to you, I would like to win it sooner rather than later, to be honest, because then, you know, injuries like today, we've already lost 3 players today through injury. James Milner, Matip came off, and apparently Minamino had a knock as well at half time. Yeah, so.
But you see, all of the injuries that I'm seeing so far, they all seem to be impact injuries rather than muscular.
Well, Milner was muscular today.
Was that muscular?
Yeah, he had a slight pull on his hamstring.
Yeah.
But you expect that from Milner. He's late 30s now.
Yeah.
But that's why I want
to. Andy.
Yeah. But one of the biggest things, Leon, why I want us to win it earlier is I want to see. Because we're not really going to sign players this year. That's been made very clear.
Yeah.
Us moving away from Timo Werner suggests that. Timo Werner, by the way, was in the bag before the pandemic. But we just, like Klopp said, there was no chance that we're telling players to take a wage cut and then we're going to go and sign a £50 million player. Klopp is all about harmony. He's all about harmony in the squad. And that's why we moved from that deal. So the reason why I want us to win it early is because I want to see these youngsters being given a go. We've got 3 very, very, very talented boys coming through. We've got Curtis Jones, young Harvey Elliott.
Like a player.
Young
Harvey Elliott's a good player as well.
Yeah, and Nico Williams. These 3 are going to be basically like our new signings for next season. And I think
what about Brewster? Sorry to cut you off. What about Brewster? Will he come in?
He's on loan now, isn't it?
Yeah, he's at Swansea, I think.
Swansea, He scored 2 yesterday.
Yeah, he scored 2 yesterday.
Brewster may have an opportunity next season with us not signing a player. He may have an opportunity. I love Ryan Brewster. I think he's raw. I think he's such a good player. And watching youth football for a long, long time now, I could tell you he's one of the best academy players in the country. Before he made it pro. As a striker, he was lethal. scored all sorts of goals. And I know Jurgen Klopp likes him a lot, and that's why he sent him out on loan.
How old is he?
He's now 19 now. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, so he's still young. And I think with us not signing anyone, this is why I was saying to you, Leon, I want it done quick so we can give these youngsters an opportunity, like a trial, like you said, like a trial. Because we ain't signing anyone, mate. I'm a little bit, as a fan, I'm disappointed we're not signing anyone, because when Man United were at the top, they always bought in it wasn't that many players, but they bought someone in. One big signing. You know, we're not going to be able to do that now. And, you know, there's going to be our rivals are going to, especially like the likes of City and Chelsea, who've got the money. You know, they're going to be closing the gap with new signings. And unfortunately, we can't. Maybe a couple of loan deals for us I can see happening, but I want us to do it quick so we can have a look at these young players, and then take it because it's going to next season is going to start very quick, boys. It's going to start within 3 weeks of this season finishing. 3 or 4 weeks later, the new season is starting.
Mad,
you know. So it's going to be mad.
So they're not even going to have friendlies or nothing like that, are they? Between the 3 weeks.
Might have one or two, just a little quick run-outs, but they'd be quick, like, you know, they'd be cut into segments, I think, like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, you know, change up the teams. Yeah, because they don't want to. So I think that's what they do.
European competitions are still going to be going on, though, as well, isn't it? Champions League still finish, Europa.
Of course,
There's still going to be FA Cup still being played, from what I understand. So I think
they should have null and voided the Champions League, man. They should have null and voided it.
The Champions League one's a weird one because, like, with you guys, when you played Atletico, it was literally obviously a few days before those games shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have
never.
So it's a strange one. I don't understand how they allow.
Because Man United played in that, and we played behind closed doors.
Yeah,
our last Europa League game. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to touch on it, but I'm not just saying it because we won it last year, but I think the tournament now, the Champions League, has become a little bit flawed because the teams that are in it, there's some teams that have been playing 1 or 2 months before other teams, which means they've already got the advantage of being physically stronger. Like Bayern Munich, for instance, if you're going to go and put money on anyone winning it now, this year it's going to be Bayern Munich for me. They've had a month and a half of football over a lot of the teams. They're looking strong as it is anyway. You know, but the fact that it's a 1-game knockout as well, sort of like...
I know, it's a bit,
You know who will struggle with that?
No one voided it, man. No one voided it.
PSG.
Yeah, because they've not played real competitive games in ages as well. So, yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit flawed for me, how they're doing this.
I have to agree, man. I have to agree.
You know,
because money talks, though, at the end of the day, isn't it? It's all about the money. The amount of money the Champions League will bring in, there's no way they're cancelling it. No way. So, you know.
It gives City a good chance, I think.
Yeah, that's a good shout, to be fair. This year, they've got a really good chance.
So what happens if they win it then? They still don't get to go in it next season.
That'd be crazy. Isn't it? Yeah, that is not.
Do you know what? Can I say something? That'd be actually beautiful for me. Nah, I don't want City to win anything more. And the fact is as well, that the cup that they will always win, the Carabao Cup? That don't exist next year. So
they're not doing that next year.
Top 7 teams. Top 7 teams are not in the Carabao Cup next year.
Top 7 teams.
Yeah, whoever finishes in the top 7 is not participating in the Carabao Cup.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
it was behind that.
Well, obviously being in Europe, you're gonna have a lot more fixtures, Champions League fixtures, you know, Europa
because of the condensed time frame that everybody's doing it. Okay,
exactly. And the next thing I think I'm hearing is the FA Cup's just going to be a knockout game as well. No replays.
Yeah.
So because they're going to have to condense the league next year.
Yeah, because it's too many games.
Is that all for what? Is that just for one season? Is that going to be?
Yeah, it looks like
probably just for one season. I would have thought then, just to manage
the thing
the
is,
pandemic.
though, it's crazy though, because if you think about it, guys, the season after, we're cutting our season short again. for the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, football is actually going to be a little bit weird for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
For a little while, yeah.
You know, because, I mean, the fact that they've done a Winter World Cup is just shocking for me.
Yeah.
I mean, what players are going to want to play top, 100% committed, intense, powerful football before a World Cup? They want to play for their countries, mate. Managers are going to have
in the World Cup as well.
Nightmare. Yeah. Managers are going to be losing their, you know what? I mean, I think it's just a terrible situation the next couple of seasons.
Again, money talks. The only reason why that World Cup happened in the wintertime is because there was a lot of dodgy deals going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, mate.
Money's ruined the game, man. It's ruined the game.
It's terrible, man. I mean, how can you have? How can you cut? And apparently it's gonna be like 2 months, boys.
Wow.
So, okay. Well, World Cup usually takes a month and a half, doesn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and they're not. I'm sure they're not going to come back and play
straight away. Yeah.
It's going to be a little rest, I suppose, 1 or 2 weeks. So you're talking 2 months of no football.
I'll be amazed if that World Cup actually happens.
Do you know what?
They can't.
I was thinking that too.
I'll be amazed if that actually happens. To be honest with you, they can't let that happen, man.
So
they can't pull the plug on that now, though, can they?
They might have to reschedule it with everything that's happened as well with Corona. Yeah, they might have to.
Man. They can't have that World Cup there.
You've got the Euros as well in the summer.
So that's next year, isn't it? Yeah, Euros will be next year.
Yeah, next year.
Well, one thing though, boys, is a whole heap of football are coming soon, boy. Whole heap. We're gonna have enough football on rotation.
Football festival.
Football on rotation, man. And boy, for me, I'm thinking it's gonna be kind of decent. Obviously, Liverpool are happy. Spurs may turn the corner as well with Jose. Who knows? But Arsenal, Jesus, Jason, you want to change teams, Jay? What do you reckon?
No, bro. I'd rather just stop watching football. I'll just stop watching football if that's the case.
Go and support Barnet. Go support Barnet.
Yeah, man. I'll go and watch games with you, Jay.
I won't watch football if I had to stop supporting Arsenal. I just won't watch football, bro.
Oh gosh. What do you man think of David De Gea now? Obviously he's like the highest paid player in the Premier League.
Is he?
Oh, De Gea. Sorry, I thought you said David Luiz. Sorry, apologies.
No, forget Luiz. David De Gea. What are you lot's thoughts on him, man?
Nah, he's not a write-off. I just think, you know what? If I'm being totally honest, I just think he needs a new challenge. I think he looks bored now. Because he's a quality keeper. There's no doubt about that. But it's just the lapses of concentration. I just think he's kind of had enough. You know what I mean? And it's like when the Real Madrid thing happened, he should have just went there. Obviously, for you guys as Man United fans, it was good, but I think for him, he's just like, whatever, innit? He's just like, he's turned off. He switched off.
I have to agree. I think the Real Madrid thing messed his head up.
Yeah.
Completely. He clearly wanted to go.
Yeah.
I mean, was it a fax? They didn't receive a fax.
Exactly.
Imagine sitting there ready to go to Madrid and they're telling you that they didn't get a fax. How that would make you feel mentally as a player. And don't get me wrong, he's playing for Man United. At the end of the day, one of the biggest clubs in the world. His attitude should be, I'm at Man United. Okay, it never worked out, Real Madrid, but still show that desire to play for that football club. But I agree with you, Patrick. That move there changed him as a goalkeeper. I thought he was outstanding before that.
He was easily the best in the world. Easily, there was no comparison
all day long. Not anymore.
Yeah. No, he's still he had some great seasons after that fact situation though, boys. That fact situation was under Van Gaal. He still had stellar seasons under Jose where he was saving us every week. It's just been over the last 2 seasons that he's been on a decline, noticeably been on a decline. He's like single-handedly costing us points. And you know what's funny is because him costing us points is like mad, but no pundits get onto him or talk about him. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Roy Keane got onto him.
In this game, hype master flex, Roy Keane.
Oh man,
hype master flex.
He's
He needs
brilliant.
It's
I
a
too
bit too
much.
much,
half
Keane.
time. Yeah,
Bit
yeah,
too much.
he's a bit.
Bit
No,
too much, man.
Jason, he's not brilliant because he's just a hype man. That's all
Yeah,
he's doing. He's
it's too
hyping you
much.
up. He's like
Yeah,
that's all he's doing. Like, come on, you can deliver. You're a pundit on TV, yeah. You can deliver your message, but you're talking about they need to get on the bus back to Manchester and all of these
But
Yeah, yeah.
that's Roy
punchlines.
Keane. That's Roy Keane though.
No, that's not Roy Keane, Jason. That's not Roy Keane.
He's
That's Roy Keane now, the pundit. That's what Roy Keane now is.
yeah.
The
yeah, but he's
pundit.
always known for cussing out players though.
What, with these funny phrases? No, he
Well,
didn't. He'd be known to get in your face and be the hard man. Man ain't a joker. Now he's a comedian. He's a comedian, bro. That's why you like him. That's why you like him. He's a comedian. That's
And
what
Sky
he
are
is.
loving it. Sky are putting it all over. If you look at Sky
Ah.
Sports, like social media, they're loving it. They're just running with it, and obviously it gets more clicks and more
Come on,
views.
we
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
And
understand
they're
this
just,
is.
yeah,
We gotta
like they're
understand it
hyping
for
them
what
up.
it is, man.
Yeah.
We gotta understand it for what it is.
Entertain.
Jason.
It's basically wrestling. It's like WWE. Do you know what I
This
mean?
is
It's
what I'm
literally
saying.
wrestling. Man
This
said
is
he
what
would
I'm
come in
saying.
at halftime and spark it. I'll be throwing punches. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, no, that was
that's
a
a lot.
bit. That was
Yeah.
a bit extreme, man. That was a bit extreme. I mean, listen, I do sometimes really enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it at half time the other day, being a Liverpool fan, hearing him absolutely rip Man United players,
Yeah,
especially Maguire.
Yeah,
He
Maguire
absolutely
and De Gea.
ruined Maguire.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, but he's a bit too much for me as well sometimes. A bit cringe.
Who,
It's almost like a little, like
yeah.
Leon said, it's a little bit of an act sometimes.
It's forced. It's not sometimes, Andy.
Yeah,
Keep watching him. It's all the time.
Most of the
All
time.
the time.
I mean,
It's an act.
one of the funniest things I remember from him, Leon, was when I thought he was going to beat up Lee Dixon on ITV Football.
Lee Dixon was scared, wasn't it?
Yeah, he
Lee
was
Dixon
scared.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, it was an England international, and Lee Dixon said something,
Yeah.
and Keno, mate, if looks could kill,
Yeah.
he stared out Dixon, man, and Dixon, he was sensing him.
Yeah. He was
sensing it.
Yeah. He was intimidated. You could
He
see
bricked it. He bricked it big time.
Yeah, look, there's no denying that Keane was a hard man. In this dressing room, he will get on to you and he probably would cuss you out. But he weren't a comedian, bruv. I'm not buying that. And now all of a sudden, man is on Sky Sports making people laugh. No. That ain't it. That ain't it. But I'm all for it because personally, as I said, De Gea said he wanted to leave, but yet other players say they want to leave and they get vilified for it. Now we're talking about De Gea's performances slipping dramatically and costing us points. Other players don't get the same stick. So I'm all for some of these players like Maguire as well getting stick because I'll hold my hands up. I thought Maguire was going to come in and be a serious baller. And I said it, I thought he was going to have the same impact that Virgil van Dijk had for Liverpool. Not saying he was as good. I never thought he was as good as Van Dijk, but I thought he would come in and have the same impact. But for me, he doesn't even seem like he's any better than a Chris Smalling. Do you know what I'm saying? A Gary Cahill, I don't think he's any better than him, if I'm honest. Like, he's an average defender, man.
Yeah, listen, the problem with that, Leon, he's a decent player, Harry Maguire. But, the problem is the fee that was paid for him.
Yeah.
And
I can understand the fee, though. I can understand it.
The fee was just astronomical for me, and that's the problem. Once you pay that fee, then all of a sudden you are going to have to be comparing him to the fee that we paid for Virgil van Dijk, 75 million. I've got to be completely honest with you. The best defender at Man United is Eric Bailly.
Yeah,
he has been for a while. He's just
can't stay fit.
He's just unfortunately gets a lot of injuries. Harry Maguire's a good defender, but that's it. But for the £80 million, people are expecting him, like you said, Leon, to have an impact like a Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, I thought he was better, man. I thought he was better than a good defender. I thought he was a top defender. Do you know what I mean? But I agree now, having watched him for a whole season closely and seeing the little mistakes he makes and players can get at him, he can get turned.
He's too slow as well.
He's too slow. And this is what the problem is him and Lindelof playing, they're both slow, so it don't work. So you need to bring in a Bailly. But for some reason, nobody wants to play Bailly, man, and it's annoying. It's like talking about even under the Jose days, we went into an FA Cup final against Chelsea and he left Bailly on the bench and he played Phil Jones. Like,
Yeah.
this is the ridiculous stuff that happens. And Bailly's had injuries, but even when he is fit, he still don't play.
Maybe Bailly's not
Yeah.
doing something in training then, or maybe his attitude isn't.
I don't think
Might
that,
be
man.
his
Because when
attitude
when you see him play,
Yeah,
he's
He's
not
on
one
it.
player that you can
He's-
say he don't give 100%. He is
Okay.
on it.
These
That's
managers,
strange then.
these managers
That's
make some
strange.
baffling decisions
Yeah.
sometimes. You know, they really do it. Like obviously, none of us are managers, but we can see how the players are on the pitch, and we think to ourselves like, why aren't you
What's going
picking
on?
like
Yeah.
Martinelli for
Yeah.
Arsenal?
Yeah.
Like,
Why is
aren't
he not getting
Martinelli
a run
playing?
out?
I do not
Yeah.
understand.
Before
Yeah,
the
that's
lockdown
crazy.
came in, Martinelli was one of your best players, man.
You get what I'm
That guy
saying?
was
He's
scoring
probably
goals
like
for
our
fun.
second top goal scorer in the. I don't
Yeah.
understand why. So why everybody gets left out certain times is baffling.
But this is why I always say, boys, is when everybody wants to try and blame the players all the time, for me, the manager is the conductor. He's the one controlling the ship. Liverpool are where they are now because of Klopp. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about the players. It's Klopp. It's the system, and it's the man management. City were where they were because of Pep. Man United were where they were because of Ferguson. So
yeah.
everybody's always giving Jose a pass when he was at Man United and saying it's the players and the squad. I'm not buying it. Even at Spurs, getting on to Poch and everything. I'm not, Poch, I suppose, yeah, he has to take the blame as well. But Arteta, you know what I'm saying? He's getting a free pass at the moment. Arsenal haven't even had that new manager bounce. I don't think Arteta's making the right decisions on the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying?
In Arsenal's defence, the only thing for Arteta is that he came in at such a bad time. Obviously, no one expected this corona pandemic to play out. So he's really unfortunate because his has been like a stopgap.
But even before the pandemic, he still weren't smashing. He weren't pulling up trees. You know, for a new manager coming in, you usually see that bounce, innit?
Yeah.
I think they had only won 2 out of their 6 games or something like that. 6, 7 games with him in charge.
Yeah. Arteta's got a big project, and but I think the project he took on Arsenal was nothing to do with the owners that are there. I think he liked the look at the academy, and knows that he's got an opportunity to work with these guys, bring them through. You know, and that's like we said earlier on in the show. I think that's going to be the level Arteta is going to be working with now, and hopefully, you know, sprinkled with a couple of signings. I mean, you've got Mesut Ozil on 350 grand a week.
He's not even getting on the bench again.
Tells you everything you need to know about what's going on. He wasn't even named in the squad against City.
Even in the squad,
he was on the bench yesterday.
And he was on the bench yesterday.
He didn't 5 subs. He didn't come on. 5 subs.
And that's for me. That's Arteta sending a message there.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want these players in our team. You know, if we're going to move forward, we want young, hungry players that are going to run through brick walls for you.
Yeah.
You know, and it might take 1 or 2 seasons, but Arsenal have been poor for a few seasons. So what's going to be the difference?
1 or 2,
1 or 2 seasons to build a young,
up
and coming side, and Arsenal will have fresh players there. And I promise you guys, I mean, I've seen some of the youth that Arsenal have at their academy, and there is some mega talented players there. Players that have been wanted throughout the whole of Europe, and they've stayed at Arsenal at their academy.
But that's what I'm saying. So, they are talented, but you know, when you come into the first team, it's a different level.
Yeah,
but it's going to be a rebuilding progress, Jason. Unfortunately for Arsenal, they've got to go through a little bit more pain in this way because unless the owners leave, mate, like you said, nothing's going to change. You know, nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same old thing. So at least have a manager there who's got a plan on working with young, you know, players that are going to fight for him. They're going to fight for the badge.
How long does Arteta get though? How long does he get with playing like this? Say for example, next year they're 8th, 9th, 10th again. How long does he get? Because there's going to come a time when the fans start turning.
Jason,
you know what? The fans are turning already.
Yeah, there you go.
You get 1 or 2, but I reckon a lot of it's going to be pointed at the owners.
Okay. But how long does Arteta get then, Jason?
Yeah.
Now, how long does he get?
Because you know what?
How long does he get, Jason?
I can't put a time on it.
Yeah, put a time on it.
Because I don't think he's a problem.
How would you feel next year this time? How would you feel next year this time, for example, if you're still 8th, 9th, 10th? Would you still say, okay, Arteta's the guy, or would you want a proven manager to come in then, kind of thing?
I don't even think a proven manager will change things, bruv. I really don't. I think it's
Totally
the owners.
agree.
I think it starts from the owners, bruv. That's why I can't put a time on Arteta, because I don't think he'd be the problem. I don't think.
But you say that, but then he's the same person that's not playing Martinelli. Do you know what I'm saying? And he's the same person playing Aubameyang on the wing. Like us as fans watching the game, and pundits on everyone's a pundit and everyone, like we can look at the game and say, for us, we would make these and these changes. You would sit there saying we would make these and these changes. So why is it that you, because he's Arteta and I guess he's a club legend, that you want to make excuses for him? He's making fundamental errors at the moment that you can see. Yeah,
he's making errors, but I don't think it's a thing where because he doesn't play certain players, that's why we don't win games. Because the teams that he does pick are capable of winning games. You get what I'm saying?
Why aren't they then?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't know. They're not good enough.
Are the tactics
They're not
right?
good enough.
Is it always
not good enough?
But he's saying the players are good enough. That's what he's saying.
That team,
they're good enough to beat Brighton.
The team yesterday that we picked yesterday was good enough on paper to beat Brighton, without a shadow of a doubt. It was good enough on paper to beat Brighton.
It's all well having players on paper, but paper don't win you football matches. At the end of the day, Brighton are fighting to stay in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Brighton have got more fight in them. Them players don't have a fight.
But then isn't it down to the manager to get that out of your players though? Andy?
Yeah, I understand. 100%. Yeah, I understand that, Leon. But the problem is as a manager, when you're coming into, let's be honest, not a very good time at Arsenal. You've already got players there that half of them want to go. You know, half of them are not bothered. You've got one player who's on 350 grand a week. He don't care if he plays. You know, that's a major problem there. You know, that's a major problem. And let's be honest, some of them players at Arsenal live in the dream, mate. They're living the dream. They're waking up every morning, they're pinching themselves. I play for Arsenal Football Club. They should be nowhere near an Arsenal Football Club shirt.
Yeah, some of them are bad.
Let's not forget, Arsenal are the third biggest club in England.
Yeah.
Forget what's been happening with the Cities and the Chelseas and these teams. Behind United and Liverpool, Arsenal are next.
Historically, yeah.
There's players in that team that are living the dream, mate. They shouldn't be nowhere near an Arsenal player. And this is the problem. You say on paper they should be beating Brighton. Why? Why should they be beating Brighton on paper?
They're a better team.
Those players there are better than Brighton's 11. They are better than Brighton's 11.
Would you say Malpay, who's been excellent this year for Brighton, I think he's better than Pepe. Why is Pepe a brilliant player? Because you paid £72 million for him. Pepe, Liverpool bid £19 million for Pepe in the summer.
How much?
19 million pounds. One nine. We bid for Pepe to come in as a cover for our front three, and they laughed at us, and then pulled Arsenal's pants down with a £72 million. Pepe is.
I love it.
I'm sorry,
I know you're being serious, but it's funny.
No. Let me say something to you. Arsenal had their pants pulled down with Pepe. I can tell you that now. He's an okay footballer.
Yeah.
But why is he better than Mopé?
We call him
Wait, Andy.
I've never seen Mopé. I don't know Brighton players.
Let's let Jason answer that.
I ain't seen Mopé play. I don't know Brighton players. I don't really watch Brighton.
Good player.
Well, you saw him yesterday.
Yeah, I've never seen him before that. I can't judge him on one game.
Well, my point is, you're saying that players on paper we should be beating these teams. You've got one of the worst defenses in the league.
And to be honest, I said it from a long time. Lewis Dunk easily walks into that team.
Better than all your centre backs.
I would take Lewis Dunk.
I don't know why Arsenal didn't go for him, because his name was mentioned before.
Yeah,
exactly.
Lewis Dunk is a quality player.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that Brighton are an awful team. But look at our starting 11 and compare it to Brighton's.
Yeah, no, I hear you,
better.
Jay.
That's what I'm saying.
What you're saying makes sense. I hear you.
But they've got fight.
That's what we lack.
Yeah.
But you know what? And you know what's it's funny that we say all of this is because we was on a couple episodes ago and one of our mates, Dash, who is an Arsenal fan, was getting a bit irate with us saying that Ryan Fraser would be a good signing for Arsenal. And it's like...
He would be.
He would be. 100%. 100%.
What are you saying, Jason? Would you take Ryan Fraser?
Yeah.
You see,
he's direct. I want wingers that are direct, that are at the club, that are direct and
No messing about. Yeah, no messing about.
And that's what he does.
But apparently, you lot are a level above Ryan Fraser. Apparently, according to Dash.
Listen, sometimes you need workaholics in your team, man. You got
exactly. That's the thing with Arsenal, and this is what I'm saying to you. Arteta needs to be given that opportunity, okay, to allow young players to come through. It's going to take 1 or 2 seasons for these players, but you've got to bide with him and have players that are going to fight for their lives.
Have the right mentality, have the mentality, be hungry.
These players, though, you got Mustafi in the team, man.
I know, he's a joke.
Mustafi, I mean, Leon mentioned at the beginning of the show, we played in Goba League football, in Greek League. I've seen better Greek League defenders than that guy.
Real talk.
Leon, am I being honest?
No, it's real talk,
you're
man.
talking about errors that you would never expect a professional footballer. And he's playing for Arsenal Football Club, mate. He's waking up every morning pinching himself. Wow, I'm an Arsenal player. That's what I'm talking about. This team. Well, we've got too many of them players in that side.
Arsenal, go on.
Go on, Jay.
Go on, Jay.
No, Arsenal tried to get rid of him. Obviously, they couldn't. It's not like Arsenal do recognise the players that they need to get rid of. It's not like we've got these players and we think, we're playing them because we paid for it. They know that he's not good. That's why he's up for sale. But nobody came in to buy him.
Even Bellerin, he flatters to deceive. I'm looking at Bellerin now, thinking, what do you actually do?
He hasn't been in the same place since his injury.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's not really
these are just names. These are just names. Mustafi is a name that next to it says World Cup winner. And all of this. It don't mean nothing. Pepe's title is Pepe, £72 million. So that automatically makes him a Sadio Mane or a Leroy Sané.
Obviously,
it don't.
Pepe came in obviously last year behind him. Was it Mbappe? He had the most goals in Ligue 1 when you talk about goals and assists and this and that. So that was that's the reason why he cost so much. So
but Gervinho was Player of the Year twice in France, mate. And
there you go.
It don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
I actually read an article not too long ago, actually, and it just talks about the recruitment at Arsenal and why the balance isn't right in terms of when you lose a player, the player that you then bring in. You've been screaming for certain players like a central defender and a defensive midfielder, and it just talks about the balance and the recruitment. And I think the recruitment is an issue for a lot of teams. When you talk about Man United's issue has been the recruitment, Arsenal's been the recruitment. But
it's Spurs to a degree as well. I would say
to a degree, but at least you know what I mean. Like from my perspective, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. From a Spurs perspective, you can maybe see light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know what I mean? But if I was an Arsenal fan now, like what Andy's saying, you just have to just resign the fact and be like, let me hold my hands up for 2 years now. While we proper rebuild, we're just not in this thing no more. And it's funny because when I used to call you Banter FC and laugh at you and everything like that, I had other Arsenal fans that were saying, "Let me on the show, man. I'll get on to you, man. How are you gonna laugh about us? How are you gonna do?" But there is a lot going on at Arsenal Football Club, which is not right.
When Arsenal bid £40 million and £1 for Luis Suarez, that's when you knew that class of that football club was gone. Arsenal never done things like that.
You've got the wrong people running the club.
This is it, Jason. I was just going to say, we touched on it earlier on. When things are wrong at the top, it filters onto the pitch. And that's going to be the biggest problem with this team now. Which is, and can I be honest with you? I really like Arsenal. I've always been. My team is Liverpool, obviously. Arsenal, always a team that I used to look forward to watching play. The way they used to play football and stuff like that. They've become a joke.
The same now. You can't even rely on them to play good football like you used to now.
It's not the same philosophy anymore at the club. The philosophy's gone, and that's due to what's running the football club at the end of the day.
If that was under Usman's ownership, we wouldn't be in this position.
No, 100%. Because you're going to be in City's position because he's going to be pumping money into the club. I mean, here's a frightening thought for you. in a couple of years' time, Newcastle could be challenging for the title.
Yeah. Well, their takeover didn't go through, did it? But allegedly, American investors now come in to bid on them. So, but yeah, we're under the right tutelage. Definitely, they could really.
And even they looked all right yesterday when they played Sheffield United.
Yeah, no, today, mate.
They looked all right.
Today,
3-0, boy.
Problem. Yeah, Maximin.
It's mad, boy.
It's just all about ownership, guys.
Yeah, that's all it is, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up in a second, gents. You know, I don't wanna beat up Arsenal anymore. You know, it's clear now that the power has shifted in North London, but we'll get on to that another day. We'll get on to that another day. But
don't get me started on that one, please.
I needed to have brought that out earlier, innit, Jason? I needed to brought that out earlier. But just quickly, man, what did you lot make of the kerfuffle between VAR and the goal line technology just before we wrap up, man? I thought it was a Laurel Hardy sort of comedy of errors.
I couldn't believe that.
Mate, that was bad. That was bad.
The ref, though, rightfully so, he was like, my watch didn't go off, so it's not a goal, because he was trusting in technology. It's never let anyone down before. So he was like, nah, he was pointing at his watch saying, nah, my watch didn't go off, no goal. Yeah. And even though everyone could see it was a goal, because the referee was like, nah, it's not gone off, I can't give it. So
to be fair, like, see with that, don't they have the monitor on the side?
Yeah, VAR should have stepped in straight away.
You should be able to replay that and go and look at it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why.
Yeah, that's where for me VAR lets themselves down, because as you say, VAR should have been able to intervene. It's not the goal line technology, because you know, mechanical things break and malfunction. That's how technology works. You know what I mean? But VAR is video assistant referee. Man should have been able to go, and the Stockley Park should have been able to say, "Yo, boss, that's a goal," you know. And
simple. And then as soon as the ball went out of play, they should have straight away gone to his ear and said that.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that, I was reading a stat about the goal line tech. It's the first mistake in 9,000 games that it's made.
Crazy.
So you know that ain't a bad stat for computer assisted sort of decisions. But what made me laugh was apparently when Michael Oliver walked into the changing room at half time, his watch bleeped.
Serious?
Yeah.
So the late reaction.
That's like that made me laugh a little bit, but at the same time, you know, that decision there is more than likely going to cost Sheffield United a European spot. And can you imagine if Villa stay up by 1 point?
I
mean,
it's true. It's crazy.
That'll be crazy. You know,
the ramifications are huge right now for both teams. It's huge.
Big time.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy what happened. But imagine his watch going off at half time. Oh shit!
When you say it went off, did it go off because of what happened with the goal?
Because of the malfunction, it bleeped.
So it bleeps minutes after.
Yeah, saying goal.
It should bleep a millisecond after it goes in.
But it bleeped
this bleeped 45 minutes later.
and you know what's crazy as well is like it wasn't even. The ball went all the way over the line, way over. Like
he was standing in the net.
Yeah,
the keeper had the ball behind the post, and then he was looking around. It took like a second.
It's like he gave up. It's like he gave up, and he knew it was a goal, and he was just like,
It was like it was similar to was it who's in goal for United all them years ago? Was it Roy Carroll? Yeah, I mean, Roy Carroll was actually...
Was it Roy Carroll or Taibbi?
No,
Roy Carroll. Oh, yeah, when he
he was actually... His head was touching the net.
That's crazy. I know. I can't believe they didn't give that one. Crazy.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know. Anyway, boys, thank you very much for tuning in, man. People, listeners, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on the audio, thank you very much. If you did enjoy this and you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and share about with your friends and your family.
Like, comment, share, subscribe. Like, comment. We ain't done that in a while, innit?
I know. It's because we're not in the...
I know.
Each other with the energy. Jason's obviously always grumpy there. They ain't got no vibe.
We got to bring that back, though, man.
See, Andy would have joined us. If Andy was live with us, he would have joined us. But Andy's got
100%.
Jason is me, 2010.
Energy's been zapped.
Ask
You're me, mate. Mate, I'll tell you something, mate. I was, Leon will remember from the 2010, we had Roy Hodgson in charge, mate. I was crying every day.
I remember that era.
You know,
I remember that
and
era.
them days, I was a season ticket holder, yeah? Home and
Oh,
away.
okay.
Yeah, I remember travelling back from Blackburn Rovers near Christmas time.
Yeah.
We lost 3-1. Benjani done us with a hat-trick.
Oh, Benjani. And he used to put it.
Right. And I sobbed on the way home because I thought we were getting relegated, you know? But so I'm there with you, Jay. I was with you, mate. You are me, 2010.
Oh boy.
Anyway, man.
You'll get through it. You'll get through it.
Yeah, I know.
As we said, thank you guys for watching. This is Everyone's a Pundit, man, and we are out, people.
Bless. Nice.